Did you know there's more at stake than just your business?
I know.
Starting a cafe is the evolution of a life of work. It starts out as a job just to get money, to get into the game of life. But then it evolves into a profession, a career, and then a business. You start a family and you've got new purpose in life. You've got 2 children. You've got your life and you've got your business. Over your time in the industry, you've built up connections, rapport, a reputation, and with that, you've built up skills. You begin to create a vision of what you'd like to build, what you'd like to create, and who you'd like to do it with. There's a real excitement that comes with that. I really enjoy this part because it negates all of the negativity inside our mind. It's timeless and seamless. It's just the flow. And every time you get into that dream in your mind, your worries fade away. They transcend the boundaries of our limits of our mind, giving you a chance to really feel the success that you could possibly create, and all inside that beautiful mind of yours. There's some real planning involved. You've got to understand that businesses aren't just built on dreams. The dreaming phase gives you a sense of purpose and enthusiasm. But when it's go time, I'd hope you've done your market research and tested interest for what you're wanting to put out into the market. This testing is really the only way to kind of bulletproof your idea. Man, this is a really exciting part of the process. Imagine that you get to ask the market whether or not your idea is viable and can make profit. Obviously, there's the negatives that come with that, but imagine how it would feel if the resounding answer was yes. Once you got things up and running, there's bound to be a few setbacks in the supply chain, cost of production going up, staff coming and going, that kind of thing. This puts pressure on your dream. The stress from your professional life feeds into your personal life. If this happens to go that way, it's going to test every ounce of strength that you've got. You go to work and there's fear. You go to home and there's stress. There's no real happy place, so to speak. It is because of this cycle that a lot of businesses shut way earlier than they should have. Often relationships end up in divorce, and sometimes there's substance and alcohol addiction. However, it can all be solved, and now that you're aware of it, it can even be prevented. Just to be clear, stress definitely has this way of limiting our thinking. Sometimes businesses are so in the deep, it is just better to shut and move on. However, there are often opportunities that come from a simple redesign of what you're doing, starting with the pillars and values that drive you to wake up and do the things that you're going to be doing each and every day. Having empathy towards your situation and yourself is a really surefire way to draw out these opportunities when they present themselves, and you can put yourself into a position mentally and then physically to actually salvage your dream in hand. So don't give up. It's never too late, despite what you might think. Continue to push through, seek help, find solutions, get what you're after. Often it's a simple change of heart, a reframe, to see the value in the things that you're doing rather than what it is costing you. By moving away from the cost mindset and into the investment mindset, you're actually going to get far more learnings out of the challenge than you would have if you're just in a cycle of complaining and feeling sorry for yourself. With labour costs in Australia skyrocketing, it's one of the main reasons why businesses close. They just simply can't pay enough to keep the doors open relative to the amount of customers they're getting in. One way to ensure that customers stick around once they've found your place is to have high quality staff. High quality staff, in turn, demand a better than average rate of pay. It's difficult, right? But if you can't afford to get these high quality staff into your premises, then maybe training the staff that you've got, finding ways to realign their attitude towards the goals that you've designed for your business, and maybe they can get some professional development out of this scenario as well. It takes time, but it's well worth. Are you really going to let your dream go just on a whim? For me, what I do in the way of content production and YouTube videos is a way to learn and grow as I learn new information and putting it out into the ether. To learn new ways of making money and to spend more time with my family, but not only just more time, to make the time more quality and effective to the goals that I'd like. Better human connection, more loving, nurturing relationships, more even flow of information that steadily allows us to grow as a single unit. But the revelation that led me to put this content out was that doing the type of work that I do just really isn't enough to support the kind of lifestyle that I like to live in my retirement years. If I was to take the type of role, for example, like an executive chef position or a general manager, that would mean I wouldn't really have the quality time with my family, and that's just not something I'm willing to do. I have to think laterally, think critically about how can I get the best of both worlds, so to speak. Yes, it is through extreme dedication and high amounts of hard work. Right now, for example, I'm recording this video at 10 p.m. at night. Research definitely has played a huge part in getting to know and do the things that I'd like to do outside of my general income making activities. In the pursuit of having more quality time with my family and earning more money, I've realized that going digital is definitely something I've got to do. There's a need for quality, high performance teams. This isn't going to be something I can do on my own. Similarly, transcending your business challenges and your personal relationship challenges isn't going to be something you can do on your own. In my 20 years of experience as a chef, I found high-performance teams are rather hard to find. It's the attitude of the people involved. We can always find another job. The grass is greener somewhere else, that kind of an ideal. But I'd like to invite you to find those people who, with the right culture, they would stay dedicated and continue to grow and nurture through your business goals. One of the greatest revelations that I've come across was investment into emotional intelligence. Understanding my own emotions, understanding other people's emotions, knowing how to communicate on those topics without dismissing or domineering. Growing a business is the chance to build a bigger outcome than was previously thought possible. The payoffs for having high-performance teams is that your business does far better than you alone could have ever done. Whilst that might seem a little bit like you're being left out, the goal of most businesses is actually to create an asset which can be on-sold to someone else at a later stage. This is the pot of gold that most cafe owners, restaurant owners, venue owners miss. They don't understand that it's not about producing revenue, it's also about producing an exit. When you do exit, you can then repeat the process over and over again, building more assets and selling them off. You can even build an empire and then sell it off to a conglomerate. It is definitely about knowing your outcome and then planning towards that outcome. By liaising with people who are versed and experienced in these kinds of areas, you can shed more light on exactly how to do that. The thing is you've got to believe in yourself first, but then you've also got to let go of the fact that it's you who've got to do the job, and you've got to form high-performance teams with people who understand this kind of thing, and you've got to leave it in their trusting hands to get the job done. Sounds complicated, I know, but it's a complicated way of saying find people who can do the job way better than you and get them to do it. This requires a shitload of mental growth. It requires a shitload of letting go of the fact that you don't have the answers to the problems, and there is no shame or guilt in admitting the fact that you can't get the job done. I've had many chats with bosses and managers who tried to hold on to power even when great ideas that would have put the business forward helped customers and team members have a more prosperous experience in that venue, all because they were too pig-headed to let go of the fact that they hadn't the solutions to the problems at hand. The real payoff is that when you do let go, not only do you look like the hero, but you also get the payoff of having staff that stick around long term, and then you can afford to pay them more in the future, which will encourage them to stick around even longer. You build an asset which can be sold at a later date to an investor or to a group like a private equity firm, and you can make a massive impact on society by producing goods and services that society is encouraged to continue to buy because they come with the experience of having a great time. That's so contradictory to what I see as normal in the industry, which is pissed off staff, annoyed owners who aren't making enough money, and venues closing left, right, and center. By taking this approach to transcend the common norms, you're actually allowing people to have much more healthy work relationships. You're encouraging them to enter into the industry, which is estimated to grow at 4.1% over the next 5 years. God knows where the customers are going to come from that, but they're definitely going to stick around if your staff are undertrained, treat them like shit, and the customer experience is inconsistent and overpriced. Regardless of what you do in life, you're going to have stress. If you perform at a low level, there's the low level stress that continues to plague you by not getting the things out of your life that you want. If you play at a higher game, there are more stresses because there's a pressure to perform each and every day, the same thing over and over. This is where the high-performing teams come in because you use their expertise and consult with them so that you can know what to do ahead of the time when the stress kicks in. You want to be responding to stress with proaction rather than reacting to a cataclysm because your head chef or your manager decided to find a new job on the fly because you treated them like an asshole. I think you're getting the picture about the culture that needs to change and where you can really benefit it from. Firstly, changing the culture of your management encourages people to stick around. 2, the customers will feel this and then they'll continue to spend their money with you. 3, you'll make more profits. 4, you can reinvest into the company in terms of infrastructure, products, services, and in your staff, which means that you've got an ecosystem that's now called an asset rather than just a business, which is essentially a black hole which just takes money and doesn't give you anything back. Negatively gearing businesses is great if you've got a portfolio, but if it's your one and only cafe, you want to create an asset that builds profit that you can reinvest into the ecosystem and keep everyone involved happy, especially yourself.